It did. I did create an avatar yesterday. Except. Oh, are the game sounds coming over, by the way? Do you all hear it over the stream, or I need to adjust my audio? I think it is not coming over the stream, so you didn't get tagged by. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me pipe my audio in here real quick. All right, we got some sound effects. Let's start the tutorial. We hear it now. Perfect. It says, welcome, Krillydactyl. No, I bought the game. I bought the game on my wife's Steam account because she loves these style of games. So I loaded it up for her so that way if she wanted to play it after I was done, she didn't have to log into my account.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah, Oh,
I forgot to click start
about
tracking
that.
the bounty. Thank
I
you.
have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in
Thank you.
I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you into the deep end.
Some games do this weird thing where when you don't have window focus on them, they drop frame rate as a feature because you're not currently focused on the game. So it dropped some frames there probably as a feature because I clicked over to my web browser to update the stream title. Mythgard would do that too.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Yeah, the graphics are gorgeous. I looked at a couple of previews before I took the sponsored thing, and the reviews were good and the graphics look good. Explore the zoo, locate the grizzly bear habitat, enter the grizzly bear animal camera, locate the lion habitat, locate the empty habitat. These look like bears over here. I can zoom in. Can we move around? WASD lets me move around. I think I've located grizzly bears.
Grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year. Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too.
Ain't that the truth?
Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel.
Dad, it's Mika the grizzly bear, chat. Maybe I need to reposition myself here.
This is where you can find out all kinds of information about your animal. The most important thing being its overall welfare. You'll learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives. But for now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information panel? See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
We located the
when
grizzly
you're ready,
bear.
let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
She marked the location. Zoo overview. There's a lot going on here, chat. They threw us right into something that has a bunch of stuff. I thought we were going to be building a zoo from scratch, but I guess I assume we can create cracks in the glass to allow the animals break out and maul visitors. I don't know, actually. It's marked on the zoo overworld. Zoom out to find it. Oh, look at probably this over here.
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
What needs to happen is make all the beverages free and then charge $100 to use the bathroom. You can rotate your perspective by holding M2. So holding M2 lets me move this around. WAS and D moves the screen. I don't see a way to rotate the camera. I wish it had a... I feel like it should have given me a controls tutorial to start. Middle mouse button does it. Okay. That does it. Okay, that's perfect. That's what I was looking for. Wow, yeah, look at it. The graphics are very pretty. It's mouse wheel. Yeah, mouse wheel did it.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section. There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants. When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade center, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat.
Hey, thanks for the
Which,
32 months,
as it
Cordemi.
happens, you are. So how about you
Thanks
move
for the
them
tier
into
2.
their
Welcome
new
back.
home?
MTGA State of the Game is out. Sweet. We'll take a peek at that after this segment. So in about an hour. How much does an elephant cost is not something I think I've ever thought about. I've only ever seen people do horrible things to people in this game. Well, the first comment from chat was, can we let the animals escape and maul the visitors? So...
When you
Oh,
ask
look,
for
one of our
animals
pigs
to
is
be
here.
moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade center, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade center's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
I'm excited to see if Jeff makes the normal disaster or the
Well,
2077 of
as you can see, those
zoos.
caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right,
The
let's
very
get the
rudest
warthog's
of
habitat
health.
finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
Chat, we got
Let's
pigs!
start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
Add a feeding station. Habitat. Food trough. Small. Water bowl large. Where's the best place to put me? Maybe I should be up over here. It's always the question when you're playing a new game is where do I end up at? Brazen lower, shift plus arrows. Okay.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add
Me too.
a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
How long before we end up with 40 to 50 wild pigs? Asking the real questions.
Nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a fair old state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
We got birds, chat. Don't stimulate your pigs on stream, chat. That's only for their tier 3 OnlyFans. Where are the birds?
Before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner.
Pause time.
That's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
I believe this game is usually $40 or $45, and it's currently on sale on Steam for $22, I believe. Struck. Oh, it wants me to put it in the wall. Got it. So I have to add this to a wall that we already have.
Right. Let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
Yeah, they just released a new expansion that includes animals from Southeast Asia, I believe. It's part of why it's up on how will people see the animals through the brick wall? Asking the real questions, Lur.
Good work. Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're
Oh, look, she covers
I'd
that.
like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier. So
Look
the
at
guests can
that,
see in.
chat. Allur's like a master zoo creator. They know the people gotta see in. No specific referral code for this one.
There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them. Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh? By the way, as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
I'll find animals for adoption in the animal market. Look at these. Well, some of these ostriches are more expensive, chat. Or the younger birds more expensive. No, because this one's 15.9. This one's $2.99. Who does the price? Is there surge pricing on the ostriches? The more you buy, the more expensive they get.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
They're bringing my first bird, chat. Look at our ostrich. That. Look at our majestic creature. The graphics really are excellent. Well, a little bit clipping through the plant there, though. They are mean. They're like giant geese. Don't screw with the birds, Jet. Okay, what we're supposed to be doing? I did a water and a food. I did not. We started this right before it published it in Flame. We'll take a look at the state of the game together on stream after the zoo segment's done. In between this and when we start BioShock. Add food enrichment. Is that what this is? The slow feeder? Yes. Okay.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did you do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals.
Look, chat, they're looking in through the window.
To the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Facilities.
You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path.
Alright, what am I doing wrong here? Oh, I have to hold Z. Okay, yeah, it just says rotate 90. Oh, yeah, it says hold Z there. Got it. I was just rotating it 90, so I gotta line it up straight here, I think.
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power. And that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we? Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So, once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off. Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
I want some tigers, chat.
Righty, your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So, go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier. Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Concrete versus red brick. Residence grade 5, residence grade 6. Residence grade 3. That like the strength of it? This is by Frontier Development. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the company name offhand. There's a link to the Steam page if you click or exclamation point planet in chat. That should have the company name on it. Yes, it is. Look at that. Thanks, Silence. Yeah, we can swap to glass once I build the whole perimeter, right? No, this one has a Steam client, Bob.
Now, Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Oh, you gotta make it tall enough so the tigers don't jump out, chat.
Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
Ooh, tigers jump high.
Now that the habitat is in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas. We need every dollar we
Capitalism,
can.
Chad. Don't forget your
Especially as
capitalism.
These tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch. Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate's in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
Meow. The tigers are much more expensive than the ostriches, chat. By many a factor. Nancy, they'd be eating for free if you hadn't made us heighten the barrier. It's funny because it's true. How much money do we have? Oh, my money is in the lower... Let me move these. Money's lower right. Yeah, like 200K. Lower left, sorry. Words and stuff.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Huh, I could afford a tiger. Please don't adopt tigers at home, chat.
This time, instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different. Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into Terrain and selecting the water tool.
Terrain. Water.
Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
Frozen blood pumpkin.
Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely, the bad weather. Although, given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you. Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel. Rightio, click on the Terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat.
Animals need less long
Okay, then.
grass.
Open the terrain
More
editing
soil?
tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
Animal needs more short grass. Damn, we got ourselves a
They
silver
say that
star.
good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave. Even if you did poke a hole in their fence.
Should we test that theory,
Oh,
chat?
but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
Right. Let's head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve their social welfare.
Game was they know, chat. They know the average gamer. You're like, oh, you don't think they'll leave, huh? Really? All right. Eye of the tiger. We got statues. Locate the highlighted area. All right. I feel like we should appreciate our majestic animals for a second here, though. Look at this one swimming. That. Oh, a little bit clipping on the terrain there. If you have an ape and a crocodile in the same enclosure, do you think people will pay to see Kong versus Godzilla? There's probably a disgusting number of people that use these to coordinate animals fighting. Y'all need some help. Hey, nice reader. Yeah, it seems really
Now
neat.
then, just find one of the peafowls and select them to open their information panel. Then we can have a good
Ooh,
gander
the
at how
bird
they're
is
doing.
very pretty.
Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese. Expand their social welfare, and we can get a bit more detail.
Give me a second. I'm looking at the bird. Very pretty.
Now, they've clearly got plenty of space, and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong.
Too few adults and juveniles in the animals group.
Right, as you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then.
Howdy Deebs. Much cheaper than Tiger's Jet.
Good work on those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her.
There's a replay dialogue option. I missed that earlier. That's good in case you're not paying attention or you're like a kid or someone walk in.
Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you?
I was
This
gonna.
will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests.
I thought she was gonna say we could put a brick wall there, but lying to the snow leopard and letting them know.
Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot, even with the terrible British weather. You should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat. As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can.
Man, this is
Luckily
really
for us,
fancy.
This habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered.
Oh, add 3 coolers.
You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them. It'll take a little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen.
The snow leopards want snow, chat. How fitting. Well, I should click on the snow leopards. They tell you what ratio they want, right? Terrain. Needs less tall grass. Needs less long grass. Trying to get rid of this over here.
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section. As you can see, this list shows you the animal's overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the animals are well looked after.
Give contraceptives to this animal. Okay, well, it looks like your animals can breed. I like how it's just like a toggle here at the end. All right, so we've got some unhappy. Let's address the turtles, chat. I don't want Speedy to be unhappy, chat. Speedy means a lot to me, okay? Speedy and I go way back. Speedy needs some enrichment. Insufficient enrichment being provided to cover all animals. Food enrichment, toy enrichment. Speedy's bored, chat. Wow, look at all of our enrichment items. What do we give the turtle, chat? This is a lot of options. Get Speedy a Twitch account. Where's the broadband internet? You can search per species. Really? Oh, filters. Species. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's no turtle option. What are you? Giant tortoise. Alright, sweet. Oh, we can give him a beach ball. Love it. Get that! Species enrichment, 79%. I need some food. Get that. We made Speedy happy, chat! Such a good zookeeper. Our turtle's been stimulated. Well, there's an animal alert. Animal welfare has attracted protesters. It really is like a real zoo, chat. Take care of your animals or the protesters are gonna come out. Species food enrichment. West African lion. Habitat. Filter. Species. If you make walls shorter, you can deal with protesters and make your animals happier. So 100% mean your animals are stressed or salt. Green is good. Green is good. Red and orange means needs addressing. Okay, so I should go back to my zoo and check out my other animals. So we helped the turtles. Look at Speedy's welfare is good. Oh, Speedy, their social welfare is not great. Okay, I can't have Speedy. I can't have Speedy being stressed about his social life. Let's get that addressed here. Animal is stressed and trying to hide. Oh. Okay, so habitat. Beds and shelters. Quick install a sewer. How do I give him somewhere to hide, chat? Oh, that's huge. Speedy's super stressed, chat. Speedy is super stressed. I need to help Speedy, chat. No, this is Speedy. Wait, what if I take this barrier? What if we put one-way glass up? Look at that! We've solved Speedy's stress issues, chat. Dad, who's a good little turtle? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Look at that. Look at that stress. Just bleed. Oh, and it's even. You can even see from this side. It looks one way. Nice. That's a nice detail. All right, let's check on the rest of our animals. Who else isn't feeling too hot? Oh no, the zebras aren't doing well. The zebras need some more enrichment in their lives, chat. Let's help the zebras. That's what a stress-free turtle looks like, exactly. Plain zebra. Oh, this one casts for white mana, chat.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I think it's fair to say that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Shall we?
Sounds like you've got the whole zoo purring away nicely. Well,
Thanks for the
purring,
follow, Darth.
grunting, screaming, booming. All the appropriate noises. I guess I was right to hire you, huh? Don't tell her I told you, but Nancy wasn't sure you'd even last the morning.
Wow,
So,
Nancy
we're
had no
happy this
faith
is
in
working
us.
out. And Nancy owes me a Foxy coffee. As strange as it seems, considering we just met, when I look at you, I feel like you're the child I never had. After the one I did have, obviously. But you see, zookeeping's not for my daughter. Don't get me wrong. Emma absolutely loves animals, but she set her sights somewhat higher. Wants to save the entire planet. I'll just settle for saving a couple of species. Oh, and maybe having a type of frog named after me.
Ernie's after that frog glory, chat. Return to the menu. Let's see what the next, oh, we can save the zoo. That makes sense. You have lots of different zoos. This was just the tutorial. I want to see what the other things look like. Now that I'm a zoo master. Now that we've proven Nancy wrong and mastered the zoo. Madagascar Simian Conservative Project. Eye of the Taiga. I want to do some. I want to save the simians, chat. Completing this game gets you a zoo manager certificate, right? Something like that. How's it going today? It's been good, Camperly. Someone earlier mentioned that, like, they had like 200 or 300 hours into this game, and I imagine there's a ton you could do not only with their different scenarios, but also just like building your own things from scratch. Like we spent 50 minutes just on that first tutorial zoo. Seems like there's a lot of different things you could do with it.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's
Yeah,
quite the
there's a
change
lot of
scenery from
micromanaging you can
dreary old
do.
England, huh?
For sure.
Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But apes, well, apes are some of the closest relatives to humans there are. And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives.
Too real, Bernie.
That's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
What do you think of Madagascar, then? Bit warm for my taste, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary. It's not just primates, though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh? We'll start by taking a look at the red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
I like looking at the animals, chat. Name one of the enclosures the moon so you can send some apes there.
That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
Like how she said when I'm ready, she knew I was gonna look at the monkeys. Look at them stalk, chat.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet. Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera.
Way ahead of you, Nancy.
Incredible. When you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Bonobos. As a father of two small boys, I'm used to taking care of things that are monkey adjacent and jump around and throw things.
It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed.
Oh, we have an escaped monkey, chat.
One of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel.
There's an alarm, chat. The monkeys have
Open
escaped.
the Animals tab. And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos. Now, we'll need
That
a
was
vet
realistic.
to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement, sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area. You can find all of your staff in here, but there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the moment. Hire a vet. Now, click on one of the paths to place the vet in your zoo. Great. Now let's deal with our escapee before they can cause too much havoc. Use the animal alerts to jump to the escaped bonobo. And then click on the Call Vet button to call the vet over to capture it. Okay, that's a relief. So while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their habitat so they can't escape again. Head back over there.
I wanted to watch the vet capture the bonobo, though. Look at him. Look at him. He's on the move, chat. Some real monkey business, you could say.
As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one.
Select it and press delete. Got it.
Good. Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that.
Proof
Okay, so go
options.
into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in. Nicely done. And I think it's high time we unboxed those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again. And then open the Animals tab. And finally, click on Unbox All Animals to let them out. I expect some of them are fair bursting for the toilet. So, it turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts. You see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area again.
Way ahead of you, Nancy.
Gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there.
The names of
I'm off
these,
for a cuppa. Oh, I think
of these
Bernie wants a
situations
word
are
with
great.
you.
Oh, I hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo. The main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly. And more importantly, without the animals stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
You see,
Oh,
another
Bernie.
key responsibility for our vets is animal research. Researching animals allows vets to unlock new enrichment items, additional information for our education resources, enhanced breeding programs, and improvements to food quality. The animals' food, not the vets. It'll take more than a research grant to improve the staff canteen. Anyway, as you can see, research is a key part of running your zoo. In order for a vet to undertake research, they require a research centre. And once again, that's something that this zoo is missing. So let's build one. I've marked out an area for you to put it. Now, you've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell. So we're able to place our new building inside of it. If you select the research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building. Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
Thought it did that. Be a little quirky. Did I just build it? I think that this perhaps wasn't the intended. This is a zoo building sim. Yeah, it's Planet Zoo. It's made by the same people that made Zoo Tycoon and Planet something or other. Planet Coaster and Zoo Tycoon previously. It's been neat. It's got a lot of options in it. All right. Sure, auto stacking is off to make placing. Oh, why would that be on by default? Very realistic error happens to the best of us. I think I might have broken it by deleting the other thing. They built a research center. Well, that's awkward. How are my animals doing in this zoo? I don't want to do your objectives. Are my animals happy, chat? Oh, look at how unhappy our bonobos are. The lemurs are unhappy too? Chat, I can't have my lemurs being unhappy. They're my favorite kind of monkey. Look at him. How could you not love the lemur? Yeah, look at that. Look at that face. Why are my lemurs unhappy? They need some enrichment in their lives. They need toys, and they need space. Insufficient area or crowding issues are present. Oh no. My lemurs are overcrowded. I don't know that I'm sufficiently prepared. I give the lemurs more space. What if we delete the wall in between the monkey terrains? Feel like we should do that at least before, eh? Alright, how do I delete the barrier? Yeah, the graphics are very, very pretty. This can only end. Well, I don't know how. I clicked on it. Oh wait, there's demolish. Oh, does it not let you demolish them in the? Oh, it might. This is technically a tutorial. It might not let me do it because it's a tutorial. That's unfortunate. I think it's because I was pressing the delete button and there's a delete button here, but I think the tutorial doesn't let you break it. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this is neat. The graphics are good. The number of options on different things you can toggle and turn on and off are impressive. Like the number of things like with the animals and their social aspects I can see. Seems like a very relaxing style game to just like chill and accomplish goals in. I'm honestly not even sure in an hour that we even got through all of the different things that you could do in here. I am going to go ahead and be done with this one for now. If you want to check this out, you can check it out on Steam here. What's it called? Arena released their weekly game update, so I want to take a look at that before we dive on into BioShock for the afternoon. So let's grab that real quick here.